Hello everybody and welcome to Organian's Puzzle Box. I'm really happy to report that Surface Forge 1.0 is out, and I want to create a video series in which I explain exactly how to use it, what it is, how flexible it is it for you or not, depending on the features that it comes up with. I've developed the Surface Forge with one goal in mind: to be a shader that you can use across your entire pipeline and not have to worry about anything. Just drop it in, put the textures in that you want, and then just go with it, right? It's an environmental building powerhouse, in my opinion. It also comes with Decal Forge, which allows you to place decals all over the level that actually perfectly complement the Surface Forge. Now, these videos, I'm going to make them in categories. This first category is more of an introductory one. It is going to contain 4 videos, including this one, in which we will be exploring what is a layer, how to use it, what are all the other layers, what are they and how they function, how they combine with the rest of the Surface Forge. We're also going to talk about texture setup and how to use the parameters to edit your entire content, things like displacement, ambient occlusion, metallic maps, and all sorts of other things like that. So if you think the Surface Forge might be something that you would be interested in, please take a look at these videos. If the first few don't convince you, then I don't know what to say, but as we delve further into future videos, it's probably going to be about 15 20 videos in total, just going through a lot of in-depth stuff. If you don't think that this system is for you, then please leave a comment in the video below. I would like to hear from you what you'd expect, what you'd want, yeah, let me know if you have any feedback. I do have a Discord server you can join, and you can search for support in there or more follow-up questions. I also have this project on Patreon available if you want to have a look at that. There, it's obviously a lot cheaper than going and getting it on Fab. But the plan here for me is to take the Surface Forge and combine it with a World Forge at some point, and combine it with a Decal Forge and the Atmos Forge to make a super, world building tool set, right? So that's my plan, and that's what I'm going to achieve. That's what I'm going to work on all this year to get that up and running by autumn. That's my, that's my plan. Right, so let's not delay it any further. Let's start the tutorial. Let me show you what the Surface Forge can do for you. Now, here is a scanned asset, a free one that you can get on Fab. I pulled this off the other week trying to use it, and immediately when you look at it, it actually looks quite good from afar. But once you start looking at the textures and the geometry, you realize that the geometry does quite a lot of the heavy lifting, but then it doesn't really hold up when held under proper scrutiny, and it would definitely not work as a hero asset. Now, I'm going to show you this asset in Unreal Engine. So here it is in Unreal Engine with the same material setup, and here is the Surface Forge variant for it. Now, this is using one shader and 3 layers in order to create something similar to that. Obviously, I use my own textures that were kind of close to this as a vision, but this asset can be used as a hero asset, like I've said. It also uses triplanar, so if you make this bigger, you can see that the texture just holds up very well and is actually very detailed. So the Surface Forge does allow you to use scanned assets quite nicely with the material pipeline in order to properly use them in your games or environments or videos and whatnot. Now, the Surface Forge is a layer material system for Unreal Engine. And the idea is simple. Instead of just using one material with one set of textures, we're actually using a multi-stack of up to 6 material layers on top. And then we let the system blend in between based on height, slope, based on depth, all sorts of other criteria, such as curvature. We can use puddles like seen here, or snow. And as you can see, it's all running with displacement, and it's also able to produce things like droplets and leaks. You can kind of see the droplets here falling onto the surface, and in some cases you'll be able to notice the leaks coming down. Hopefully the video compression of YouTube is not going to ruin that. You can then use vertex painting, and you can use mesh painting to blend all of these materials however you see fit. And then we're also we're able to do this across albedo, normal, roughness, displacement. I'm going to add in support for other things such as emission. I'm also going to do like pixel depth for parallax occlusion mapping and all sorts of other things. And then the same type of material in triplanar mode can work on spheres, can work on cones, or all sorts of other objects that you can think of. So it's actually a very, very good setup overall for you. And you can, for example, just go into the materials in here and just enable something like a curvature layer. And then immediately you will be able to then see the curvature layer and are able to play around with the settings, perhaps load up a noise texture that allows you to blend however you see fit. But it's all done in such a way that it actually makes a lot of sense. It's consistent and cohesive as well. You're basically going to be able to create some extremely defined type of, as I said, shaders for your project. Now, this is Epic's Dark Ruins environment. It's all Megascan content and great looking stuff out of the box. And that's exactly why it makes for a good test. If Surface Forge can actually add real value to something like this, where you can just recreate it using it, then I think it's worth having a look. So if we actually move over into, looking at the performance of this, you'll notice that from an instruction point of view, the scene is quite heavy, just kind of going over into the reds here. I'm not saying that this is not efficient. All I'm saying is that currently it's not as optimized as you might think. Obviously, this dead character here is definitely more optimized than the rest of it. But we can then switch over to Surface Forge and have a look, because I've kind of recreated this part of the environment using the Surface Forge shader and just used my own textures, trying to kind of replicate this entire mood, but we can also check the performance. And here we are in the same environment, and this time it's actually using the Surface Forge. As you can see, the textures are very similar. At least I've tried. I'm using my own textures, but actually there is a difference in quality of the texture work. Like, the textures that I'm using for the Surface Forge, they do look a lot more detailed than the ones used by the Dark Ruins. Now, obviously, they're not custom made or anything like that. I'm just using my own kind of texture sets. But if I switch over to performance mode, the stuff that I've replaced is everything that's got either a tint that's going towards green or the green tint over like that. These are the assets that I have changed myself. So you can clearly see that from an instruction point of view, the Surface Forge is roughly 10-15% more performant. But most of this stuff, like this here, is running with 2 layers. So I will gladly show you a sort of a difference here. If we take a look in this asset, I am using the Quixel texture here for the rune work, but it's also these extra details added in here from an extra layer. And you might think, well, I don't know, is that really that different from the actual asset? Well, let me just switch over into the level that comes from the Dark Ruins, and then we can, let you decide if that's true or not. So this level is now loaded up. You can see they look quite similar, right? But let's have a look at some of the texture work from Quixel. This is how these rocks look like. I mean, they don't really hold up that well when you get close, but let's have a look at this particular asset here. You can see the rune works, but there's no more detail other than the rune works there. Everything else is quite low texture, quite blurry, quite... again, I'm not trying to say that the work that they've done here is not good. All I'm saying is there is a clear difference between the Surface Forge and the stock textures that come with this asset, and that you could, in theory, upgrade it to look something more like this. There's obviously a lot more going on, but that's not to say that the Quixel one couldn't be made to look like this or anything like that. But the setup that I'm using is very, very performant, and already the Quixel material, so this is mine here, obviously, but already the Quixel material was in the red in terms of instructions, and I think that's something that's worth mentioning and having a view on, because again, it does make a difference when you're building an entire game or an entire environment that's rich in detail. Now, one quick caveat that I want to add in relation to Megascan assets is that they're generally very noisy in geometry, like you can see here, which means that they don't play very well with displaced features. And this is why you'll most of the time find that Megascan assets do not have displacement enabled. That doesn't mean that Surface Forge cannot have it enabled. You can. However, you need to be aware that because of intersecting shapes and geometry in general, you can have issues with displacement. So look at these rocks here. There's clearly a lot more detail on these than there were on the on the Megascan asset types. Most of this is using triplanar as well, so very cheap considering it's triplanar. But when you look at it here, again, displacement is off because if I enable it, there's going to be a lot of issues with the texturing. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't work all the time. So you could open something like this, for example, and you can have a look at can I actually enable displacement? And you can do, but you could have issues. And this is something that we're going to explore later on in these videos, because enabling it here, for example, you can see that it's creating this mess because of how normals are dealt with. Also, the magnitude is going to have an impact, so you might want to reduce that magnitude quite a bit before committing to displacement. But that doesn't mean that you cannot use it. Like, for example, these sand patches here, these are using displacement, and they work just fine because it's a flatter plane with a lot less intricate geometry to work with. And obviously, quad geometry generally does a lot better. And this is, a lot of it is triangulated as well, just to be aware of. Now, I'm going to show you a last example here, a Dwarven city environment. It's, got cobblestones, big slabs, things like that all over the place, right? It's got big statues and whatnot. So this could actually go with an upgrade, because if you need a lot more high fidelity, it might not look as, you don't get a lot of depth in the textures. Now, again, the work is fantastic on the Dwarven city. It looks really amazing, but you can do an upgrade with the Surface Forge. So I've just done some very quick initial steps to do that. I didn't add any particular, extra special textures. I've just used some stock textures that I have for brick layering and whatnot, but that's just going to, we're going to use parallax occlusion mapping to just add a bit more depth in here, and you'll see the result of that. So here we have applied some of this sort of like some of these bricks that I've told you with parallax enabled, and you can clearly see that there is a depth now to the buildings that it wasn't there before. This is very rudimentary. Obviously, none of this in the pipeline was constructed around this, so I didn't put much emphasis into it. I just added the bricks and enabled parallax occlusion mapping with shadows, and that was it. And then for this cobblestone here as well, obviously it's not following the initial design of what the creator did, because again, I wasn't creating bespoke textures for this, but you get the idea. This, I hope, sells the importance of what the Surface Forge can achieve when you're trying to redo assets that you've already bought, but also what you can do if you create your own assets and you build up textures and a shader from the ground up. Then the Surface Forge comes in handy because it's effectively a shortcut to your desired result. So I hope this video convinced you to watch further along, or maybe you already have the Surface Forge and you want to learn how to use it, then this is the series for you. Thank you for watching. Please take a look in the playlist because there are other videos for you to watch and digest through.